fact that you have these experiences as a kid or a teenager, and then there's nobody to talk to, and you have to figure it out on your own, and hope that you're in a good space with people who are going to support you. Because, man, especially because, like I said, I come from the church realm, and we would talk about stuff like this. And if nobody is operating on that level, they have no idea what the hell you're talking about. You're crazy. You're a crazy person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even
So
though it's like all throughout the Bible. I love it. Like, all of this stuff is in there about, hearing the voice of God, seeing angels, being spoken to in the wee hours of the night. I mean, I will encourage you, when you get off of here, go read Job chapter 4, just the beginning of Job. And Job talks about laying in his bed in the middle of the night when deep sleep falleth upon men. And it says that he looked in the doorway and there was a silhouette of a shape. And he said the shape was moving. It was moving, and you couldn't determine the outline of it because it was moving. And it was almost like a mist or a fog, right? And he said that that it was a spirit that brought a message to him. And that spirit brought a message. And we're talking about angels. What do they look like? Do they look like strong men? Do they look like little babies? Do they look like women? Sometimes they look like a mist, like a smoke and stuff like that. So that I'll encourage everybody to read Job chapter 4. It's a really good. And he talks about how his hair stood up on end. His hair stood up on his neck, and he was like, "Oh my God, there's a spirit here." And we all have had like similar encounters like that. Have you ever had anything cross over like into the physical realm? Whether you've had some dealings with dark spirits in the past, or have you ever seen any angels, any lights appear? You ever had anything appear to you in the physical form?
Oh, yeah, all the time. And actually, what I want to say about that is that the angels are the highest, purest form of energy. They've never actually been in a human form before, although they do sort of tap in and give that disguise at times when we're in that time of need,
Yeah, exactly.
But a lot of times when I experience angels, I experience them as these sparks of light, kind of like twinkles almost, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I know that. And the thing is, to someone who doesn't know that, they might see it and go, "Oh my God, is my brain okay?" Or "What's going on
You're
here?"
right.
But
You're right. Yeah.
that's what's going on. And the same thing, yes, I've also of course seen ghosts as well. I saw my mom who was in the light as well, and I've also seen shadows too. And the shadow people, the ones that really weren't of the light, this was earlier on for me
Yep.
before I understood what having those spiritual boundaries looked like, and kind of having that protection around me. So now that I have that protection, and I do it from the moment that I get up, I surround myself in that light. I don't really experience those shadows
I know.
anymore, those
Yeah.
dark
Same. Same.
sides. But I
Same for
see,
me.
yeah, but I see lots of sparks of light. I see lots of lights formations moving around, orbs, because when you think of it as well, when we leave the physical body and the shell behind, we are in essence just our spirit, our energy form, and that's what's around us making that contact. It's like having a radio signal on and having the resonance be the channel through the radio signal. It's the same thing with the other side. And
Yeah.
so I this is the reason why I actually wrote the second book, is because I wanted people that were in that space where maybe they weren't sure, or they were afraid, or they didn't want to be judged, to be able to read these different stories through other people's views, to see like, wow, I've had that experience, and I thought I was crazy, you know what I mean? And so I really wanted this to be sort of like a guidebook for anyone who was in that place, to kind of give them, to empower them to step into their truth and not to run away from it,
Yeah. Definitely.
And yeah, and the other side likes to use lots of different elements to get our attention in the physical sense. So it could be, numbers, music, electricity,
Yeah.
lights
Yeah.
flashing. There's so many different ways that it happens. But when you give yourself permission and take that fear away from it, and you're coming from a good place, the signs are all around. You know.
Yeah. And so that, I mean, that's one thing about your book too. It's just giving practical experiences, and so that really the supernatural becomes practical. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And so all of these experiences, these crazy encounters and stuff, I believe that it should change us for the good. And whether it's, we're talking about church or any type of, religious activity or crazy encounter, whatever it is, like I'm open to whatever as long as there's something practical that's released. And so even if I would point back to the story that happened in the book of Job, he's seen this spirit that brought him a message that changed his vibration. That when he left, it changed his awareness, and the message told him just it gave him a revelation about God, right? And so that he would, when he left that place with that spirit or whatever, he carried that with him, and he was changed. And so it becomes practical. Everybody has these woo woo crazy encounters. Trust me, I love them. I love them, but they have to do something practically. How does it make you a better father? How does it make you a better co-worker? Do people love to be around you, or are you the laughing stock of the community? Like what happens there that makes you a better person? It becomes practical for me.